again.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Isn't this amazing? Here we are once again, gathered around our respective microphones for another session of TalkPad, where we talk positively about dyslexia. On this day when we have, where I live, sunshine, snow, wind, sunshine, everything in a small space of time, we're going to have exactly that today in this show. We have a wonderful guest in Chris Cornford. I'm going to tell you about him more in a moment. Hi, Chris.
Hello.
And of course, I am joined by the illustrious duo, the McAnch pair, Jamie and Charlotte.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Fresh from the Dyslexia Show 2022, where they starred in the panel talk. And so we're all full of enthusiasm and excitement to find out about our new guests. So let me tell you, once again, I have, of course, scoured the internet and prepared a document, which I'm going to read from now to tell you all about Chris, but he's a man of mystery. Chris is a Welsh Rugby Union Regional Coordinator, as well as a coach educator, and is responsible for many hubs in the South Wales region. And we're going to find out more about that because I'm particularly interested. He's an experienced level 3 coach and is the head coach for the Risca rugby team. Chris is dyslexic, and this is all I know. So let us find out more now. So Chris, tell me this. I've got to ask you, because when we had a chat before, you impressed me with your resilience because you are determined to have the job that you've got.
100%. I was the right man for the job. Although I was knocked back so many times.
You didn't get it straight away, did you?
No, I didn't. No. I applied the first time 7 years ago. I applied for it 3 or 4. I'm going to say 3. It was a different department, the 4th, and I didn't get them. And I think the first time I'd say I wasn't ready for it. I stayed in the industry where I became a hub officer, which was based in schools, coaching rugby for kids as young as 6 to 16 and so on. But I still wanted the job as regional coordinator because I knew I could do a better job than anyone else. To be quite honest with you, not being big-headed, I just knew it was for me. And I just kept getting knocked back. And even my wife and kids were saying, don't bother anymore, Dad, that's it, leave him. And I was like, no, like a dog with a bone, I wouldn't give up until I finally 2.5 years ago got the job where I am now. Line manage now 16 hub officers, the job I used to do, plus 72 rugby clubs in my region, which is the Dragons region, which I try and coordinate with. And it is such a roller coaster every day. And you've got to be on your guard every day because Welsh rugby fans are, although we are the best in the world, they are all no better than you, if I'm allowed to say that. I hope my boss don't mind me saying that if he is listening. But yes, that's how I got my that's how I persisted in getting my job. And I think I'm doing a good job.
So that is determination, isn't it? And resilience. Because a lot of people, when they're knocked back, they think, okay, fair enough. And they don't bother. But that self-belief and that determination and that resilience, that it's funny, I hear it a lot from people with dyslexia, but a lot of people with dyslexia have no self-confidence, don't they? Their self-esteem has been eroded away by that sort of thing.
Yes.
So what is it that made you persist?
I think I played rugby in school. When I left school, I left rugby for a bit until I was about 28, and I started playing for a local side. And the rugby coach there, and I just wanted to play or stay fit, and I really enjoyed it. The rugby coach there won the best, and so I would turn up on a Saturday for the game, and if a local club who was better than us didn't have a game, they would all turn up, and then he'd put his arm around me and say, "You're not playing today." And I would just go, okay, fair enough. I'd go for a run or watch the game. And I always said, I'm going to coach my kids, and I'll never be like that. And that made me who I am, I think. So I got a lot to thank him for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, someone showing you how to do it.
Yes, but also passion. Passion is, I know I can offer something to not just kids, grown-ups, and the way I think. I really, I don't want to blow smoke. I just know, I think what I do is right, and how I do it is right. And if I'm wrong, I'm the first to admit it. But yeah, it is a lot to do with passion. That's a big word we got to put in there. Is passion for what you do, not just rugby, in anything.
So how long? I mean, sorry, Guy, I just want to jump in, right? So how old were you when you first started playing rugby?
Yeah, I was playing rugby through school, all through school. I went to school, and then I stopped when I left school when I was 15, 16. Started playing again at 28 just to keep fit. I was self-employed then, so I couldn't commit. It was only very low level, and I've always played only low level. And that's another thing about my job. I'm surrounded by semi-professional or professional players, which don't make the best coaches or teachers, I must say. Yeah, and then when my boy finished playing at 16, when he started playing at 7, that's when I started coaching, and I realized I think I had a bit of a flair for coaching children. And there was a gentleman in the Welsh Rugby Union said, why don't you go to university? Because I got to my level 3 coaching badge. So when you go to university and get a coaching degree, and I was like, you got no chance. And my wife was going, yeah, go on, you can. Honestly, we'll all help you. You can do it. And I've said the guy, and I did it. And I went to uni. And my best story, and I told Guy, is when I'm in the library doing a 1,000-word essay, which took me all day and half the next day. The kids next to me, because I was a mature student, I was 45 at the time, would take an hour talking to me, 1,000 words, done, and they would be out of there. But it'd take me forever and a day to get it done. And that's another part of not giving up. And that's when I and then I became a coach educator, which is a lot of PowerPoint presentations even now. But and I do it, and even now, if I got to do a new slide, a new module, I have got to have that. My boss knows, and the guy, I've got to have it at least a week or 2 weeks before, just so I can get it in my head. I couldn't turn up on that night and do that, even if I know the subject. That's how it affects me. But I look at the screen, I don't read off there, and I interact with it. I think I do it good where I just interact with everyone rather than going reading the slides and so on. So yes.
So going back to that time, you had already been diagnosed with dyslexia, or no?
No, I thought I was a naughty boy.
So how old were you when you did get diagnosed then?
In university, one of the lecturers said, why don't you have it done? And it cost me £400 to travel over to Bristol with my wife. And I can remember, I can remember that day. It was great. I always knew, but it was like she said, you are dyslexic. And it was like, thank God for that. I knew there was something. You know? I always did.
How did that moment, let's go back to that, because I can remember when I was first diagnosed, but what was that moment like for you?
I nearly started crying then. I had to be quite honest. That's how much it meant to me when she told me.
Yeah.
But was it a sort of cry of relief?
Yes, totally. Yes, it was incredible, and it was like, my God, I've struggled everything I've done. I've always got on in work. I've always became a foreman or a charge hand or this or that. I've always became a leader of, but I've always struggled to do it, and it just helped. And now I got good people around me working with me. So like emails, every day's a struggle, as you know. It really is, like emails and all. And but I got good people around me who I get by it. I said the guy, when every interview or everything I do, I write about 100, 200 words down, which I think I might have to use in a meeting. So I've always got them words with me. that's one of my coping mechanisms. I do that all the
It's
time.
preparation, isn't it? That's the message, isn't it, that's come across, is that you've worked out, you know what your challenges are, because you're a sensible, intelligent person. You know what the challenges are, and you know how to prepare for them, so that it's as manageable as possible.
Yes, it's I've got to I've had to organise 14 rugby camps in 8 days in the Dragons region. And when my one boss told me, I got straight on it. And they start in 2 weeks. I've closed the camps. We've got 1,200 kids coming to the camp, so nearly 100 to 140 kids on each camp. And the other regions, but they're not dyslexic. They haven't even looked at it yet, but they haven't got to look at it yet. But that's how I cope. And that's when you said about being organised. Once I got I got to do it. Even if I'm already thinking of the summer camps now, which are in August, and I've already got a plan in place for that. It just can't be sprung on me.
I could do with you in our business, because I am so disorganized, right?
Really?
Honestly, mate, it's horrific. But I don't like planning for anything either, right? So, because if I plan it, I overthink it. And if I overthink it, I get it all wrong anyway.
Yeah.
So I am a natural born winger.
Yeah.
Good on
you. Yeah.
But yeah, so
I think coaching's helped me.
What's that?
I think coaching's helped me.
Yeah.
Coaching. You just see things. I wasn't the best player. I'm surrounded by professional players a lot of the time, and semi-professional players, and they can see things. I see things differently to them, like they see it differently to me. But coaching has helped me massively, I think, and give me confidence.
So one of the characteristics, right, with dyslexia is the ability to solve problems, right? Yes. And it is one of the probably the biggest positive characteristic, I think, within the whole neurodiverse condition. How do you think that has helped you to get you to where you are now? That's
a great question.
Within your current career?
Determination, thinking outside the box. I try and be at the front. I try and answer questions. I don't sit back and just listen. I did in university, but not in this job. And I don't tell a lot of people I'm dyslexic, because I get it a lot where people say, "Oh, I'm dyslexic," and I'll be quite honest, a lot of them are not dyslexic. They say that's a different story, and I just think it's being honest with yourself. I'm honest, being I'm quite I'm black and white when it comes to telling you something, and everyone they know where they are with me. I think I put everything down to dyslexia. I've got to be honest. I really do. I really do.
It's quite interesting, because we've learned so much with going through the podcast and working with Guy, and there's a lot of sort of characteristics that come about, and one of them is obviously remembering names.
Oh, don't.
The one thing, and I was like, there can't be anything else that you can blame on dyslexia now. But we've learned.
That definitely is, and I didn't realize until I started, till I was on LinkedIn and started following Guy, and literally only the last year I've realized what dyslexia is, or what I think it is.
You'll always learn, mate. You'll always learn.
But I wish people just wouldn't think, when you say, "Oh, I'm dyslexic," they just think you can't read and write.
Yeah.
And that I get really upset by that. I really do. Because then my next line, and I shouldn't say it, I know, and I'm not going to offend you, but I'm not dull. That's what I used to say.
Yeah.
And you should, but that's it. Oh, I'm dyslexic, but I'm not dull, and I shouldn't do that. But with Guy,
I think the thing is, though, that you can be made to feel stupid if you are dyslexic. And I was talking to someone earlier today who said about their child in school and the challenges that child faces from other people, if kind of indirectly, because if it's harder to keep up with everybody else, you're working incredibly hard. They seem to do it so much more easily.
Yes.
And that puzzles them, doesn't it? And it puzzles you.
Oh,
And but you know in your own mind, don't you, that you're not stupid, you're not lazy, you're not an idiot.
100%. And Guy, I met someone actually. I seen a boy today. I had a meeting with a lady from another sports department, and there was a boy working behind the bar who I was in school with, and I said, "Is that?" I won't say his name. I said, "Oh, is that so?" She went, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I haven't seen him since school." And I walked over to him and said, "Oh, yeah." We had a chat, and he couldn't believe, because I got kicked out of school. He couldn't believe my job and working in schools and working with kids. He just couldn't believe it. And you know, it's like you've got to get diagnosed early. I mean,
yeah,
you really have, or it can ruin you.
That came across a lot at the Dyslexia show as well. That when we sat on the panel and talking to people afterwards as well, that everyone had their confidence knocked at one point or another, got kicked out of school or any, and that confidence needed to be built up so you didn't feel like you were stupid.
And the funny thing is, we were talking to a teacher, well, an ex-teacher, and she was a teacher in a school for children with difficulties, which is how she worded it, right? And she said the funniest thing is, or the saddest thing is, that by the time the kids got to get the help they needed, they were already damaged.
Yes.
And that is, it's quite sad when you think about it. That by the time youngsters are getting help, they're already damaged.
Yes, it is. It is. I got a hit on the point where you said about forgetting names. That's the most embarrassing thing for me always. I just a quick story. I was one of the boys in my rugby side who I coach. I say boys, men. And I was giving him a bit of an hard time for something he'd done on the pitch, and all the team was there, just pointing a little finger at him. And then my coach next to me said, and I've been coaching this side for 2.5 years, that's not his name. But I do it all the time. It's a big joke now. What's his name, Chris? What's his name, Chris? What's it? They always, and I take it, and that's me all over. Yeah, that's my biggest. That's what I get embarrassed for.
Do you know what, right? I used to, and I don't now. And I played basketball. I played basketball for Cardiff, and there was a lad there called Harry. And for the first 6 months of knowing him, I called him Barry. And there's another guy called Mo, and there's a guy called Omar, and I get Mo and Omar mixed up constantly.
Yeah.
But it's a standing joke now.
I know.
People get to know.
It's because I'm dyslexic. They look at you. No.
Yeah. So it is funny, but if nothing else, it always breaks the ice in the room.
Yeah. I got to ask you: do you argue with the sat nav?
No.
Oh.
I've got a female's voice on the sat nav, mate, and I learned very young age you never argue with a woman.
No, it's wrong. No, you're taking me the wrong way. It's definitely not taking me the wrong way, but I think it is. And I argue like hell with it. Terrible. That's dyslexia.
Directions is a problem that I live with. And so I do use a sat nav. And do you know what? But and we've mentioned this loads of times on the show now, right? Like years ago, before sat navs, and for anyone listening of the younger generation, there was actually a time before sat navs existed, and believe it or not, mobiles as well. But we won't go into too far into the arcade. But you know, I used to absolutely panic if someone said to me, "Right, Jamie, drive here." I'd be like, "I can't. I don't know the way." And they were like, "Yeah, but just follow the map." I was like, "Yeah, I can't because I can't read. I couldn't read."
Yeah.
And I used to just
I agree.
Wow.
Yes. I feel for you. You were dead right. That is all the time. Used to. Yeah. But every interview, I didn't tell people I was dyslexic, and maybe I should have when I was in my interviews. I think interviews are not good for dyslexics, or not good for me. Really not. And I say now, it's all right. It shouldn't be interviews. You should know them, as in know the right person, because I must have been rubbish at the interviews, but it took me that long.
But you got there in the end, though, didn't you?
In the end, yes.
I guess we got to know you, saw your persistence.
Yes.
So do you think, though, that the way that you think is different from other coaches doing a similar sort of role? Do you bring something different to the game that
I think so, yes.
person?
Yeah, I think so. We're a Division 1 side, but we're not the best side. Before I was asked to join there, before I joined there, they were having 6-7 training. Now, we shouldn't be in this league because we're not good enough, but because of COVID, we had to stay in this league. So I took on a side who was really at the bottom, mentally and everything in the club. And I'll be quite honest, we still don't win. However, every time I'm going training out tonight, there'll be between 20 and 30 boys there because they're liking what we're doing. But we will win. We will start to win if it's, but we're just too young, too naive. They haven't been coached at a good level, I think, and now they're getting coaching, but it'll come. And the club, I've got the full backing of the club because of what we're doing. We have people coming to watch us, what we do in training. My coaches, I'm more a stand-back. I'm a very open coach where I like I invite people in to come and coach so I can watch them. And also my coach, I'm the head coach. So my two coaches, I challenge them all the time. And, I didn't think of that. Oh yeah, great. So yes, I think I do things different and I will get results. I won't give up on this club.
Well, we know you're determined, resilient person. So, they...
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about sport, Guy. I know that you had some burning questions around sport and dyslexia. I think this would be a really good time to kind of bring that in and that relationship. So what were you going to talk about at the beginning of the show, mate?
Well, I'm not an expert on sport, and I've never really been involved in team sports, but there's a lot, isn't it? You've got to know a lot. You've got to know the rules, and you've got to have strategies. If you're playing in a team that is coached, I guess then there are strategies that you've got to know. You've got to know what to do when, with who, at particular times in the game. It's not just turn up and chase the ball, is it? No. So as a dyslexic coach, how do you, I don't know how you come up with the ideas, but how do you put them across? Do you have like a whiteboard? You drawing them out? Do you make...
Yeah, combs. I can have players or coaches come up to me. Chris, I got this move. If we do this, and we throw it that way, and 2 goes around the back, it means nothing to me. So I say, right, put it on the board. Well, I need to see it. Or combs, let's do it on the combs. Or we use the players to walk through. And I think that helps. And I'm surprised how many people do learn that way, or like to learn that way. We've brought that in at the club quite a lot, where a lot of visual learning rather than just telling them, right, go and do this, and what do we mean? No. With coach education's helped me a lot, where in rugby, and I suppose it's all sports, even teaching, it's not telling, it's asking. So asking the questions, loads of open questions. My players love that. And then I get their understanding from it as well. So they know what I'm on about, and that's helped me just learning and that's from the coach education. But yeah,
there's sport, because obviously if you've been in school and you had a real challenge and you're not really sure why, and is sport something that you think can really help sort of boost that confidence and get the confidence back as well?
Yes, definitely. I've had a tough day in work today because of you. However, it's like a busman's holiday. I'm going to coach my rugby side tonight, but that really is a release, and I can't wait. People don't, it's rugby all the time. Well, it's different aspects of sport, and yes, it do help massively.
I actually agree with that. I played several different disciplines of sport, and it's a massive release. And I think the big one for me, which is what people don't understand, is actually I go and play sport because I don't have to think.
Yeah.
Even though I have to concentrate on the game and on the tactics of what I'm doing, but that's all I have to think about at that particular time.
Yeah.
No one asks me questions. No one asks me to do anything. No one asks me, my ideas, because I'm not a coach, so I don't have to coach. Yeah. I can literally just go there and be a player and do as I'm told. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I can't tell my left and right, so quite often I have to ride them on my hand. But it's fine.
Oh, I'm like that. I do that. I click my left and right. I click my left hand because I'm left-handed. I know that's my left.
Yeah.
I thought that was just me. That's brilliant.
No. I write a little L and an R. And actually, when I was playing rugby, I used to play wheelchair rugby for Wales.
Yes.
And obviously everything is done behind the player in front, right? So you don't have to say coming up on your left or coming up on your right. Well, I used to have to write a little L and an R on my hands because otherwise I'd be going coming up on your right and then pass the ball left, and I'd be like, no, the other left.
That's good. That's good to know. That's really good to know.
So it's quite common, mate. It's quite common.
That's brilliant. I'm so glad you said that.
So, do you think, Chris, that do you know any of the players or any of the people that you work with? Is there much dyslexia that you see, or does everybody do people keep it covered up? How?
If there is, they keep it covered up. That's a good question. I don't think there is. I've met people. I hope I'm not wrong saying who said they're dyslexic, and you just seem to know, and no, you're not. I haven't said that. I'm just okay. When I done my first ever course, 1999, I can remember going up to the tutor, so embarrassed, saying, "No, look, mate, my writing's terrible. I'm really not comfortable here." Words to that effect. And don't worry about that. And I wish I could have said to him, "Look, I'm dyslexic, so just go with it, please." But
I think though it's really difficult, isn't it? Because you're putting yourself on the line. You don't know what someone's going to say because, if you've had a hard time growing up and you say I'm dyslexic and someone says, "Oh, that means you're thick," then that's really painful.
Yeah. It is. Still is.
I remember meeting someone a few years ago who said he worked in a place where you had to get people's names and information from them as they came into the building. And he would have to write down their name. So he would ask them what their name was. And if it was a difficult name, then he would say, "Oh, I'm a bit hard of hearing. So can you just say that or spell it out?" Because he was more comfortable. He felt it was more acceptable to be hard of hearing than it was to say I'm dyslexic.
Yeah.
So,
you're dead right. I'll still know if we got anything in work where, and we haven't done it since COVID, to be quite honest with you, but if we got a meeting somewhere with all the WRU staff, it frightens me to death driving down there just in case. Right, who's going to scribe you? I'll never do it, but I just hate, please. Don't even like standing up and reading it because I got to read it, but I can see what I want, and even now I don't. I hate them days. And still do.
I always say I'm not doing it, and when they go, maybe you can do it, I'll go, no, I'm not.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right? Because it does create misery for people.
Yeah.
And if you do have to take the notes or the reading out, that's all you think about. You can't contribute your great ideas to the meeting, so it's a waste. And what I remember doing some coaching with someone about this, and he had quite a senior job in a government organization, and he was often asked, and he used to take him all week to write up the minutes afterwards. It was such a waste of time. So we talked about this, and I pointed out to him, I said, why don't you, ask someone else to do it, or say you're dyslexic, or you could say, for example, that yes, I will take the minutes, but it's going to take me a long time. They're not going to be very good quality. And I won't be able to contribute to the meeting. So if there's anyone else who could do it better, maybe they could. So he went to the next meeting he went to, kind of build up his courage. And someone said, "Oh, can you take the minutes?" And he said, "Well," and he said these three things. And they said, "Yeah, oh, no problem. We'll get someone else." And he said the relief, because he was expecting a big fight kind of thing, but it was just not a big deal. So I think, you've got to embrace the Jamie McCanch approach and say, I'm not doing it. And it's a force of character thing. You just got to say, you want a good job done. It's like choosing the right person, isn't it, on a pitch. You want someone who is fast and furious and light to grab the ball and run to the end. They're not good as a defender.
Yeah.
A dyslexic person's not good as a minute taker. So you just got to say
100%. I'm going to use that. I like that.
Yeah.
It's those little analogies that really kind of help, doesn't it? Because it's about confidence, and it's about, and actually once you actually speak out, I think so many other people recognize it, and that's not such a big problem. The problem is just that your confidence has been knocked, so you don't want to say anything in the first place.
I remember when someone saying to me, Jamie, can you take the minutes? I was like, mate, I can't even tell the time. Let them take the minutes.
Oh, amazing that one as well.
And they never asked me again.
That's class. I like
that is, I've got to say, that is the perfect note on which to finish, isn't it? And I shall remember that phrase. And because I know you've got work to go to, and Jamie often has stuff, doesn't he? And it's been a long, hard day. So I've got to say thank you, Chris Cornford. You have been fascinating.
You are welcome.
And it's wonderful to hear, that with determination and hard work, you can get to fulfill your passion. That's the message, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And keep that focus. So,
you guys, you know where I am if you need anything. I need that.
That'd be great to have you back on the show at some point.
Absolutely.
I feel that there is more. There's more to Chris than we know.
Really? There definitely is.
In the first show, and we'll come back in a few months.
I'm almost believing he's good at poker,
I know people who are. I'd like to play poker. Yes, I'm there. Thank you very much, the three of you.
Thank you for your time.
That was great. Thank you.